Hold on, let me start recording. We're just having our recap here, talking about our Nikola Tesla session. Daz just pointed out that Dick drew the flux capacitor. For those of you familiar with Dr. Emmett Brown and
Where
Back to
did
the
I
Future.
draw that? I didn't realize.
I think it's on your second page. It's like the Back to the Future flux capacitor.
You write 1.21 gigawatts on there.
Gigawatts. Is it gigawatts in there?
Well, let me pull that back up. I put it away. For me, that's one of those sessions that I kick myself when you gave the feedback. I should have done better on that, but it's some days chickens, some days feathers. Where's the flux capacitor? Let's see. Was it
next one down?
There it is. There, that's the nice catch.
That is the flux capacitor from Back to the Future.
That's it. Yeah. That's what makes time travel possible.
I was 2 pages in. I thought, oh my God, am I seeing a crypto? What is that thing? You just it's because remote viewing, they give us a target ID, and we're going from cryptos to the past to the future. And it's like you go, okay, what was that? You get 1 second of some little visual and you have to figure out what you're looking at. But yeah, I like the part where in Nyiam, you kind of drew it too. Was the person with the flying, waves? You thought it was the dam, but we all kind of do. I think it's pretty clear he had astral projection or some type of contact with other realms.
Yeah, he was out there fighting spiritual battles.
Yeah, that was me. I saw. Yeah, fighting other entities.
Mm-hmm.
Probably had some demons he was wrestling with.
Him and Edison were duking it out in the astral plane.
Yeah, right. I know we didn't get too much into where did this come from, but I always wonder why, if he's getting, because it sounds like he got struck with inspiration that one day in the park to start designing all this stuff. Why does this information come to people? I mean, that's society altering things, and then why did it not go the distance? What other forces are at play?
Yeah. I think
none of us got that he had a chip implant. Who was it?
I think it's kind of hard to. I think it's kind of hard to say what was his inspiration. I mean, there's so many events and things that happen in someone's life to say it's one single thing. I think that's kind of hard to say, but and it's also kind of subjective. I mean, who knows what it was that happened to him, or multiple things that could have happened to him. But I think we captured him very well. I mean, if you take our data as a whole, I mean, a pretty good description of some of the things he did in his life. Edward's part there with the thing in the air and the ground was charged. That's bang on. That's what how his tower.
That's the money shot.
Yeah, that was amazing.
So for the subscribers listening to us, this one's in the hopper. I'm going to publish this before it'll be out later. We'll let you know. It might be out in 2 or 3 weeks. So it's a preview. We just remote viewed Nikola Tesla.
Yeah,
but it's not published yet. So this is a teaser. They also today indicted Trump on January 6th. So that makes about God knows how many indictments.
Yeah.
It'll just put his ratings up higher, his poll numbers. But
they want to distract everybody from the Hunter Biden.
Every time something bad about Hunter comes out, they indict Trump. It's like, and Trump did this.
Or bring out some aliens.
Yeah, exactly. They got their back pockets full.
Not aliens, non-human biologicals.
Non-human biologicals.
Right.
Thank you for the correction.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
I mean, non-human biological, that could be an animal, right? That could be.
That's right.
Yep.
Be an amoeba.
Could be a plant.
They're very careful with their words there.
They really are.
Yeah.
They really are careful with them.
Were you impressed with the congressional hearings, Daz? Was it what you expected, or?
It was. I have to be honest. It was actually more than I expected. It's the stuff that's coming out as well as that at the same time. It's
Well,
That's
what
really
I heard was that they're going to go into a skiff. They're going to go into.
They're trying. They were denied access to the skiff
they were,
initially.
yeah.
What is
okay.
a skiff? What does
It's
that
a
even
It's
mean?
for
It's a
secure-
sensitive.
compartmentalized.
Yeah.
It's where they can show the top secret shit. So
Yeah.
some of the
Oh.
Congress people said, okay, we want to see this. And they said, we can't show it to you in public. So take us in and show us the real shit.
Okay.
Yeah. No
Here-
mobile phones are allowed. Nothing's, nothing electronics allowed in the room. All that kind of stuff. It's like massively shielded, and they're usually in basements and all that kind of stuff.
And are they doing this?
No,
No,
well,
they were denied access.
Yeah, they were denied access because the guy, I can't remember his name, Grush or whatever his name is, the guy, the whistleblower.
Yeah, the guy that worked for like Intel and everything.
Yeah, he worked there for Intel for 14 years. He was the one that's got the information.
Yeah.
But because he's now a whistleblower, he doesn't have the access to be able to go into a skiff to give them the information.
Right.
Now you,
but he
you
was
may
very
know.
Go ahead, Edward.
Go ahead. Oh, Daz, you may know though, but I thought that Griff, whatever his name is, the whistleblower guy, I thought it was said that he only had third-party knowledge, what somebody told him, and he's the whistleblowing. But
Not
then I thought I heard
not
that
third,
in the
no.
hearing, he said he had firsthand experience with the. So what is it?
It's
both.
It's a bit of both, I think, but most of it
Yeah.
is testimony. Because he had to do investigations for the Intel communities, so it's his witness testimony and stories that he gathered from people. And he has names. He said in the in the testimony itself, when they asked him the question, where is all this tech? He said, I can't tell you in public, but I provided a list of all the locations where all this is, all the companies that have it, and a list of hostile and not hostile witnesses for you to go and ask to get more information.
Yeah, he
So
gave
it's-
everything to the inspector generals. It sounded like he filed multiple complaints because he was also seeing how this information wasn't traveling the way normal intel is supposed to travel. I think is what kind of alerted him to this. Like, hey, this isn't going where it needs to go. It's not having the proper oversight, I think was his biggest concern with that.
What is a hostile witness? Like, if you
It's-
ask him, what about the UFOs? I'm like,
Well, it's going to be someone that's been mentioned by everyone else, so they're like, oh, this was my boss. He was head of the program. He's obviously not going to want to speak, but
right.
and he's a real jerk.
it's really interesting to see where this is going to go. I have to be honest. There's allegations or there's rumors that very soon we're going to see some very good 4K kind of like footage of satellite photos of UAPs now that are going to be released next. But the underlying bad side of it, well, not bad, but the underlying worrying side of this is there's lots of new information that's being leaked, and I'm seeing from all my various sources of government reports, and some of them, like from the Bigelow Foundation, we're talking a report that's like 15 years old, actually proving that anyone that has a paranormal encounter at Skinwalker Ranch and with these UAPs and stuff, they are all getting physiological damage from this, especially brain damage and autoimmune diseases.
Well, do you remember? I think it was just a month ago or whatever. Stephen Greer had that second thing, and one of the guys there was in really physically bad shape, and he was talking about rubbing the UFO, doing all this kind of stuff. So maybe he got sick from.
Interesting for us guys being into remote viewing. One of the people that's been documented in this report about physiological symptoms is remote viewer Joe McMonigle, because he had a UAP experience.
What was his experience? I don't think I've heard that one.
It's documented. I can't remember where it was, but
I know Lynn Buchanan
saw a UFO. Yeah. But so that's what's worrying me. Not worrying me, but I wonder what the agenda is behind it. The leaking of this information.
Right. Why is it coming out now?
Yeah, which is showing paranormal and physiological effects that do harm people. From one guy that's got like heart disease. Someone had some people have had
cancers. And, that was in Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. They go into the author goes into detail about that.
One of the reports from Bigelow's Ranch, I don't know if you've seen it, is actually it's been leaked now, and there are videos of it on TikTok showing the brain scans before and after these people showing, you know, the damage in the brains and stuff. So that kind of stuff's slightly worrying, but I wonder if they are putting like that as an agenda to make it seem like
they're hostile,
or, you know, don't go near, you know, don't have any interaction. I don't know what the agenda is with all this, because it's so subversive.
Yep, I agree. Yeah, I don't. Whatever the official story is, I don't fully trust it.
Yes, but
what's the angle?
I mean, when you see Congress people talking about non-human life forms and craft and stuff, you know, and it's become so public now that I don't think there's anyone out there that's a real big skeptic that something definite is going on. So the scenario is flipped on its head the last 18 months or so, which is a very strange situation to be in.
Yeah, I remember hiding this interest when I was a kid and stuff, you know, because I used to have shit happen at night and I would read books and, you know, I wouldn't talk about it for fear of, you know, being teased and ridiculed. And now it's completely different.
Yeah, now we might be close, you know, if the pressure can be kept up, we might be close to actually seeing some really good footage very soon. I can't see them releasing the craft and stuff, because then the foreign
That's
agencies,
national security.
like China and places like that would get access to it.
Okay, so will they release like a crystal clear gun camera image, or
I'm expecting, yeah, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing in the rumor mill from the people that are doing the hardcore pushing, I'm expecting to see really good photographic and video evidence within the next 6 months on this. Yeah.
Okay, here's the question, and I did this as a short on Twitter. They're not going to release details of our secret space program, like what we've learned and what we've developed as a result of that. I don't think that's good. So
it's interesting because, you know, when you hear the Congress people, they're like, it's the American taxpayers' money. They shouldn't be having these trillions of dollars. We're coming for you. And then you got the Pentagon like trying to, you know, beef it up from the other side, saying no, you're not. But we all know that it's hidden behind so many programs that it's not actually the military and the Pentagon that are running this anymore. You know, it's
the private corporations.
It's the private corporations that are hiding it.
Skunk Works, Lockheed.
Written into law now, they have 300 days to furnish everything. And if they don't do it within those 300 days, then if they ever get caught with it, it's illegal and they're in trouble. So
I'm sure these people are so well connected, though. I'll be surprised if everything comes out. I'll be really surprised.
But I am interested because we are the closest that we've ever been to, you know, something tangible with this subject. Yeah. And, you know, once we get that, it changes everything, doesn't it? To be honest.
I don't know, Daz. I mean, I'm still going to be skeptical no matter what we get.
Well, yes, but, you know, let's say they do release something, and, you know, and then we have to start asking the other question, you know, what are they doing with us? And,
right. How many people that claimed abductions over the years are telling the truth?
Yeah, because, you know, that, you know, if we know that alien life forms, or I don't want to call them alien, if we know that other life forms are there, then we can't laugh at the abductee people anymore.
No,
you can't laugh at remote viewers either, because
absolutely,
you can't just say, "Oh, you guys think you remote view UFOs?
Absolutely.
Those aren't real. You guys are crazy." Well, what if UFOs are real?
Yeah, it changes the whole thing for us as well, because we all know from the research going back, you know, decades of this kind of stuff, that all the interaction is psychic. So if they are, you know, if we do get to know that they are real, and we know that they drive their craft by psychic means, we know that they're psychic, all their communication has always been telepathic, then that makes our topic of research, remote viewing, a solid
that much
reality.
more credible.
Yeah,
we'll
have
absolutely.
They'll have to come back and take a look at it after that.
Yeah. And we also have to bear in mind that it makes us, as, you know, well-known, highly paid, kind of like working intuitives, maybe possible agents for, you know, some kind of future communication program or something.
Yeah,
because they will be looking for the best of the best.
I agree.
I think Courtney's got that on lock though. He's already with Harvey.
Yeah, I was not going to go there. I was going to say, does that mean that does that mean that Courtney's telepathic YouTube segment was real? Or
I can't answer that one, but yeah, we have to, the whole thing for me, it opens up loads of questions in my head of like, okay, if they're real, then okay, then the abductee thing comes more serious. But then again, it's also do the missing people and the alleged mutilation thing.
Mutilation, and you got the hybrid programs too that Dr. Jacobs wrote about.
Space program, consciousness, the role that consciousness plays in all this, because we know it does with the UAPs and the alleged aliens and stuff. And us being consciousness engineers, where does it put us on the stage of all this?
But Daz, have you, in the past 30 years, has there been any doubt in your mind that they're real?
No.
You've pretty much known.
I've known, but it's nice to now know and be that much closer to everyone knowing as well. Because in my working life, I've had people say to me, "Oh, you believe in UFOs? You're a crackpot." So I'm at the stage now where I'll be able to send out a tweet to everyone and say, "Told you so."
Yeah, which is nice.
It's like the information was there for people with an open mind who would dig through all the bullshit. You could find the truth, but only if you were really looking for it.
Yeah,
and then it was there if people had an open mind. It was kind of like dished out, and now it's being fed on a platter to just about, you have to really close your mind to not accept it. So it's a gradual.
I think it's going to be a golden era for us as intuitives, because the moment it's absolutely disclosed that these non-humans are real, and everyone knows that they deal in consciousness, that's the way that they communicate. I think that it's going to globally around the world, it's going to open up a massive, huge golden honeypot of resources, of money to the tune of trillions, to be put into people like us to do projects like this, because they'll now see that it's actually real. And I think the money pot will be there for us to as people in consciousness research to be developed and be engineers and to work on this.
I love that possibility, but I'm also thinking of the nefarious aspect, bringing AI into this. And project, was it Bluebeam? And if there's some kind of tech implanted in someone's minds and they're hearing voices and voice to skull technology, like all of that too could easily manipulate a population into believing that there's telepathic aliens. So and Daz, I'm with you. I think I agree with everything you're saying. I'm also saying we just need to be very cautious and skeptical of what's being coming out. That's why it takes people with your experience to be able to discern the signal. Is this an intuitive message, or am I dealing with some kind of tech?
At this stage we don't know.
Right.
I'm just my mind's just worrying as all this develops. My mind's worrying at the possibilities that this may open up, especially for consciousness researchers like ourselves, who have been laughed at for decades. And if aliens are real and we know that they communicate like this, it means that everything that we've been doing in this project for the last 5 years is stepped up a gear, because we are now the world's experts at being experimental on this. We are, we will be like the cutting edge. And the money will be there for people like us. So so it's all that's where I'm thinking with all this, really, as well as oh my God, there's other life in the universe, kind of thing.
I've always said that besides documents and stories, I mean, remote viewing is one of the other best tools that we have to try and get some information on these kind of topics. It's not true right away, but it's a good leading point and a interesting one of the only ways we can kind of get a foothold. So I definitely agree with Daz in that a lot of people will be looking at this skill and this area more seriously now.
Once non-humans are identified as being real, consciousness goes up a level, the funding will be there from everywhere.
And Daz, keep an eye out. All those projects you and I did for Courtney Brown that are published, that's been 15 years ago now, some of them. Maybe information will be released that will validate some of our
Yeah.
data. Like, hey,
Exactly.
Daz drew this, you know, and it's like that happened with Ingo Swann a couple times, right? Like
Yeah,
a
it did.
moon and Saturn and that kind of stuff. You and I might get some, well, all of us might get
We
some
all
of
might
that.
get some feedback, yeah, on some of these projects. Absolutely.
That'd be really cool. Be really cool.
It's just, you know, will the military and military industrial complex give up their secrets that easily? That's
No.
So
will they
not
use
unless it
it?
gives them a strategic advantage.
and they haven't fought back
Yeah.
yet. You know, it's been easing out at the moment. There's been no fight back. So when will the fight back occur, and how will that happen?
Unless
Or
this
will
is
they-
all
will they-
distraction.
Yeah. Will they
Yeah.
use it as to invoke fear? Like, oh,
Right.
we need to all band together and fight. You need to give up some of your liberties and give us some money to fight these guys.
Yeah.
That's
And
tradition.
again, socially, it's interesting to see where this is going and how it's all going to develop. You know, as a social experiment. Yeah. No better
Edgar
time to
Mitchell
be
was
alive.
adamant. Edgar
Yeah.
Mitchell
So-
was adamant. The astronaut, before he died, he says, you know, they're not hostile. They don't want space to be weaponized. That was his take. One of the Apollo
I
astronauts.
see. I used to believe that, but I don't agree on that now. I think that because the rumor is, or the allegations are, that, you know, these non-humans have had pacts with some governments for decades. You know, give them a little bit of tech, and then, you know, they do their
Right.
operations. And if that's the case, and even if it's not the case, even if these non-human entities are just listening to our normal communications like radio, TV, all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff, they could have at any time in the last 100 years found a way to announce themselves to ease our knowledge a little bit, but they haven't. You know, they've purposely kept 99.9% of the world's population at bay, unknowing, not letting them know what their agenda is or anything.
Mhm.
That to me is not the aims of a spiritually advanced race of beings with our best interests at heart.
I have mixed feelings on that. Some of it being on the data that we've collected on some of the projects we've worked on with like planting seeds of knowledge that spur that growth. That it's that not knowing, like even looking at the hitchhiker effect, it's that we do a Hellfire. It's that fear that you have that propels you forward and inspires you to grow. You know, and I'm not saying for sure that they're benevolent or malevolent. I don't know.
But they could do it in
Yeah.
an easier way rather than abducting people and anally probing them and taking samples and all that kind of stuff, wiping their memories.
Yeah, but we do
That's
the
not
same thing.
spiritual. We do the same things to what we class as lower animals. So
Correct.
that's another worrying thing. We may be
Mhm.
the lower
The
animal
lower animal.
on the food chain.
Or it may be something that we just don't understand yet. You know,
Yes.
like there's something else going on that we just don't understand.
Yeah.
And it's a necessary process.
There are a lot of questions. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the reasons why they want to keep the cover up going, because if they don't know what the answer is, or if the answer is something that we don't really want to hear, how do you announce that to the world's population?
Yeah, that would cause panic if it's something really big.
And that reminds me of, there's that one part in Whitley Strieber's book, Communion, where he says he gets taken up in the craft and they're probing him and doing all that kind of stuff. And he says, you know, you have no right to do this. And then they say, we do. We do have the right.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's scary. Dick, you're muted.
Eisenhower might have signed that right over to him, didn't he? There's some speculation that Holloman where he disappeared for a while, Eisenhower went and met with them. They had video of it, and he signed an agreement that they would give us some technology, but he allowed them to abduct people if they wouldn't be harmed.
Right. That was Bill Cooper. That's in Bill Cooper's book, Behold a Pale Horse. He talks about that.
Yeah.
Well,
Again,
there's all
I mean, there's going to be so many strings to pull.
Yeah.
So many,
and And I always come back to Corso in The Day After Roswell in his book, talking about taking the Roswell tech and seeding it out to companies to further our technological advancements. That's why I'm curious, when is that stuff going to come up into these hearings? When are people going to ask those questions? They don't ask those questions.
Yeah.
You know?
And the other thing as well, I've been seeing these tweets the last couple of days. It's so funny of Bob Lazar, you know, because and someone asked him a question and he's like, "What do you think about this?" And all he said was, I told you so.
Yeah. Good for he finally got his moment.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I'm so old, I can remember time before LED lights, and I remember people saying they had sighted UFOs that had lights that were really intense and really colorful, and they were describing LED lights. And that's, we have drones.
There's concepts that are coming out that came out back in the 80s and before that we now have technology in place to explain when you look at the ET stuff. Like I always look at Carla Turner's book, Masquerade of Angels, and she talks about how this guy's mind got taken out of his body and put into a little black box. And when you think of consciousness in terms of just, Wi-Fi signals, as a program being put into something at a little hard drive, it sounds possible.
Yeah. That's scary in itself, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was a terrifying book.
It's about damn time. We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great discussion. For those of you watching, let us know your thoughts. Where is this going? I know we started off our talk about our Nikola Tesla project, but we got sidetracked with the UFO stuff because it's also equally fascinating. So let us know your thoughts. Where's this all going? What's the big agenda?
One more thing. I might put this on the new YouTube channel. So go to our site and subscribe to futureforecastinggroup.com and subscribe to this YouTube channel, whatever you're watching it on. I'll give it to our private subscribers first for a few days, and then I'll put this up on YouTube. And so welcome everybody. We're Future Forecasting Group. We're remote viewers. We look at weird shit.
That we do. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for watching. On behalf of Edward, Dick, Daz, Nyiam, and the rest of the crypto viewing team, Dennis Nappi II, thanks for watching.